As a top student, Maria stands completely frozen outside the heavy wooden doors of the main exam, suffering total mental burnout. The panic wipes her slate completely clean. The complex history dates she spent months memorizing disappear entirely. She realizes suddenly that she can't even recall her own name. This chart shows exactly what happens during an episode of cognitive overload. As the stress bar climbs, the capacity for working memory drops off a cliff. The brain perceives a massive threat and responds by shutting down all access to higher-order thinking. Her system completely crashes, unable to hold it together. Maria collapses onto a bench in the hallway and begins to weep. In this state, trying to force the information back to the surface is a mistake. Pushing an overwhelmed brain to recall only tightens the block, locking the data further away. To recover from a crash like this, you have to apply the first guiding principle of high-stress performance: acknowledge the overload. You must completely stop trying to remember the material. By immediately abandoning the effort to retrieve data, you deprive the anxiety loop of the mental friction it needs to keep spinning. Admitting total mental defeat sounds counterproductive, but it acts as a required hard reset switch for a panicked nervous system. As Maria cries on the bench, a stranger sits down right next to her. Without preamble, the stranger reaches out and hands Maria a bottle of water. Then they offer a very specific piece of advice. Don't worry about what is in your head. Focus on what is in your heart. He will give you the words. This diagram shows a psychological mechanism called a pattern interrupt. The physical act of taking a sip of water, combined with unexpected advice, acts as a wedge. The anxiety loop is actively severed, replacing the spiral with a stabilizing physical baseline metric. By utilizing that simple physical grounding anchor, Maria's nervous system shifts. The intense panic evaporates, and she enters a state of sudden peace. She stands up, walks through the heavy wooden doors into the vast exam hall, sits down, and opens her test booklet. She takes a completely different approach to the exam. She totally abandons the strategy of actively forcing memorized data to the surface. Whenever she encounters a difficult question and feels herself stalling, she employs a new protocol. She pauses, and she stops fighting the block. In those quiet pauses, she feels a gentle whisper dictating the answers, smoothly guiding her pen across the paper. This models flow state mechanics. The rigid active recall pathway is blocked. The fluid, unhindered pathway bypasses jammed memory entirely. Surrendering brightly lights up and expands this fluid pathway. It seamlessly converts data into a continuous flowing data output. Maria finishes her paper, sets down her pen, and walks out of the hall, releasing the tension she'd been carrying. Her intuition-based strategy yielded an undeniable quantitative result. She achieved the highest score in the entire state. She went from relying on an exhausted, panicked mind to trusting a steady, guided heart. The next time you face a moment of insurmountable pressure, you can apply the lesson from Maria's bench to your own process. You have to step away from the panic and completely quiet the external noise. That is the absolute requirement for perceiving your own internal guidance during a crisis. Ultimate academic and intellectual triumph requires deep emotional surrender, rather than last-minute mental force.